In this video, we are going to go over shaping and editing. We have 3 different stitch types in Chroma Inspire, and everything that I'm talking about today will apply to Chroma Plus and Luxe as well. With our different stitch types, we have 3 different options to input our lines and curves. With our input options, we can create curves in different ways. Right now, my program is set to Simple Draw Input Mode. This means that if I want to create a curve, I'm going to hold down the Control or Command key on my keyboard while I click. To create a straight line, I will release Control, and now I can create straight lines. To find your input modes, go to Tools, General Options, under Digitizing. At the top of this window, we have Outline Input Mode. You have 3 options. Simple Draw, you will use your Control key or Command key if you're on a Mac to create a curved line. Bezier will allow us to create curves by clicking and dragging while we have the mouse held down. The last input mode is called Freehand. With Freehand, we will have our cursor appear as a small pencil, and we will be able to freely draw on our screen. Freehand is great for organic shapes and a lot of curves. Find your preferred method and set it as your default in your options. We can also switch back and forth between our input modes while we are digitizing. Right now I'm on Simple Draw, where I'm holding down Control to make the line curve. I can easily tap on my shortcut keys to change input modes. If we look at the very bottom left of my screen, just below the color chips, we can see my shortcut options. I'm inputting a run stitch, and I can tap on C to close it, Enter or right click to finish it off, or FSBA to change the mode. If I tap on F, I'm now in freehand mode. If I tap on B, I'm now in Bezier mode. And the last mode that we do have here is arc. If I tap on A, now I can create simple curves just by clicking onto the screen. This is our arc mode. Once we have our preferred input mode, we can set that in our Tools General Options, and we can always switch back and forth when necessary. Now let's look at editing. When I have my object selected, I can click on the Shape tool, and it will show me a couple of different things. I see blue points, I see pink lines, and I see a green and red dot. The blue dots or squares are my points. This is where I have clicked onto the screen. I can edit any points just by dragging them or adjusting the Bezier that I have available to me. I can also drag the outline itself to change the whole line. We can also add or delete points. If you right-click on any outline or point, you can add additional points for easier editing. You can also delete points to remove sections of your design. The green and red dot are your start and stop points. This will show you where the object begins and where it finishes off. We can easily adjust these, and you can see the change if you click on your slow redraw icon in the upper panel. The green and red icon in the very center of this object is my center point. My center point will be left in the very middle of my entire project. The other object that we see here is a black icon located just at the end of this run stitch. That shows me the last stitch. I can edit the center point by clicking next to the stoplight. I can also turn on and off the last stitch in my view options. Now that we've gone over editing on our run stitch, let's go over our other objects or other stitch types. We have a classic satin stitch type where we can still use our curves, although freehand and Bezier does not work with this stitch type. To create curves, we're going to hold down Control or Command on our keyboard. With our satin stitches, we still have the pink outlines, which we can drag or change. We also have our points, which are oftentimes hidden by our angle lines. The points can be changed to a line or a smooth. When we have a round point, that means it's a curve. We can change these to a sharp point, and that will give us a much sharper edge. We can also add points here, and we can play with the Bezier. The angle lines are showing me the direction of the stitches. I can adjust the angle lines by changing the direction, and we can see how it changes the stitches. We usually want all of these angle lines to be consistent and flow through the object for best stitch out. We can also add or subtract angle lines simply by right-clicking and drawing additional angle lines in our object. When moving around curves, more angle lines might be necessary. Now let's look at our last stitch type in Chroma Inspire, and we'll talk about our editing capabilities. With our complex fill, we can still use any input mode like Simple Draw, Bezier, or Freehand. When we click to edit or shape the object, we have one single angle line. A complex fill object can only have one angle line, as all of the stitches need to go in the same direction. We can also edit our outlines, we can add points, we can delete points, and we can change any point or dot to a curve or a line. With our start and stop points, we can edit these as well, and oftentimes these are edited to have one object stop where another object begins. We have so many editing capabilities with Chroma, Inspire Plus, and Luxe. Everything that I've talked about is available in the other tiers with your other stitch types. We also have the ability to add a hole in our complex fill shape. If we right-click on any outline or point, we can choose Add Hole, and now we're able to draw the hole in the object. Again, I can still switch back and forth between my modes. If I tap on B, I'm now in a Bezier mode, and if I tap on S, I will be in Simple Draw, and F for Freehand. We can even edit the holes after they are created. For easier editing, we can right-click, go into Edit, and choose what we want to edit. When we choose to edit outlines, we will only see the pink outline along with the blue points. This will allow us to focus on just our points and our outlines without anything in our way. If we want to only edit the angle lines, we can then choose angle lines. And now our blue points are hidden and we can easily adjust our angles. So whatever you would like to edit, you can choose that by right-clicking and choosing the item that you want to change. We hope that you learned a lot. Drop us a comment below, and thank you for watching.